For 87 years, one family ruled this corner of South Carolina. Judges, prosecutors, private jets. They were the law. Until June 7, 2021, when the man who stood to inherit it all made a call and said his wife and son were no longer living. But here is what he did not say. That he was the one responsible. That he had already taken millions. That he was about to be exposed. And that this one night would unravel 99 financial crimes, 3 other unresolved losses of life, and an empire built on corruption, betrayal, and harm. Richard Alexander Alex Murdaugh, 53 years old, a lawyer, a husband, a father, the heir to a legal dynasty that had dominated South Carolina's Low Country since 1910. His grandfather was a prosecutor. His father was a prosecutor. He was a prosecutor. The Murdaugh name opened doors, silenced critics, and, as the world would learn, concealed sins. Hampton County, South Carolina. Population 18,000. Rural, with limited resources, and deeply dependent on the Murdaugh law firm, PMPED, which handled personal injury cases across the region. The firm employed dozens. The family donated to charities. They sat on boards. They were, in the words of locals, untouchable. Alex married Maggie, a teacher from a wealthy family. They had 2 sons, Buster, the elder, quiet and studious, and Paul, the younger, troubled and volatile. Paul had been involved in a fatal boat incident in 2019, the loss of Mallory Beach, a 19-year-old passenger, when Paul, allegedly impaired, lost control of the family boat. The case was delayed. The Murdaugh name, locals whispered, had slowed accountability. But Alex had a secret. For years, he had been diverting client funds, millions of dollars, from settlements meant for injured people, orphaned children, the vulnerable. His law firm had discovered it. He was about to be confronted. And then, on June 7, 2021, Maggie and Paul were found no longer living on the family's 1,700-acre estate, Moselle. July 2022, Alex Murdaugh was charged in connection with the passing of Maggie and Paul. The trial began in January 2023. It was televised, analysed, discussed. The prosecution presented the kennel video, the decisive evidence that proved Alex was present. The defence argued that a loving husband and father would never harm his own family, that the timeline was tight, that no firearms were recovered. But the jury saw what Alex had done. The untruths, the thefts, the desperation. On March 2nd, 2023, after less than 3 hours of deliberation, Alex Murdaugh was found responsible for the passing of his wife and son. He was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms. Before sentencing, he stated, "I am not responsible. I would never harm Maggie. I would never harm Paul." The judge replied, "And yet you did." Then, in a separate federal proceeding for financial crimes, Alex acknowledged responsibility. 99 counts of fraud, money laundering, conspiracy. $8.8 million diverted from clients. He received an additional 40 years. The man who had been the law became the most convicted man in South Carolina history. But Maggie and Paul were not the only shadows. In 2015, Stephen Smith, a 19-year-old, was found no longer living on a rural road. Initially ruled a vehicle-related incident, the case was reopened in 2023 after the Murdaugh trial. Smith had been a classmate of Buster Murdaugh. His family believed the Murdaugh name had suppressed the truth. In 2024, Buster was named as a person of interest. The investigation continues. In 2018, Gloria Satterfield, the Murdaugh's housekeeper for 22 years, passed after an incident at the Moselle estate. Alex collected $4.3 million in insurance payouts meant for her sons and retained them. He later acknowledged responsibility for taking from her estate. Her sons, finally, received justice. And Mallory Beach, the 19-year-old lost in the 2019 boat incident. Her family won a $15 million civil judgment against Alex Murdaugh, who had no assets remaining to pay. The boat incident, the delayed case, the retained insurance, all threads in a pattern of corruption that stretched back decades. The Murdaugh law firm dissolved. Partners pursued Alex legally. Buster Murdaugh, the surviving son, changed his name and relocated. The family homes were sold. The 1,700-acre Moselle estate was auctioned. The name that had opened doors became a subject of documentaries, a symbol of Southern Gothic corruption. But for those harmed, the clients whose settlements were taken, the families whose loved ones were lost, the communities whose trust was betrayed, the collapse brought no comfort, only the slow process of restitution, only the knowledge that power, when unchecked, consumes everything around it. The unanswered questions. Alex Murdaugh is 56 now. He will spend his remaining years in prison. He has appealed his conviction, arguing jewelry tampering and improper evidence. The appeals are expected to fail. But the questions remain. Why did he do it? Was it the financial exposure alone? Or something deeper? A self-focus so profound that removing his family seemed preferable to facing shame? And what of the other losses? Stephen Smith, Gloria Satterfield, Mallory Beach. Will their families ever see full accountability? Or will the Murdaugh name, even in ruin, continue to cast a shadow?
Alex Murdaugh was not a figure in the dark. He was a man in a suit, with a family photo on his desk, who used the law to take from the injured, the grieving, and the deceased. His case is a mirror, about power, about trust, about the systems we assume protect us, until they don't.